So we're going to talk about leads. How often do you call them? How do you text them? How do you call them? What's the best way to do it? And how I came to the realization on good ways to call leads is I used a few sources. I used MIT, HubSpot, and Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi had a company called Hire Alan, and they were booking 4,000 appointments a day. And they pulled all together data and find the key components that would lead from a lead going to an appointment. So that's all I'm going to talk about because that's all I do at the moment. So essentially I help insurance brokers in New Zealand. Potentially we'll go international at some point because we can do this remotely, where basically record videos of them, run ads for them, and call the leads for them. So that's all I do. I make videos, run ads, and call leads. So I like to think we're starting to get pretty good at that. It's going to get better over time. If there's any changes to the best practice, then I will let you know. So normally if you're running any kind of advertisement or campaign, you have a landing page that takes their information that then goes to an appointment page where they can book a time to talk to you. Initially thought the best thing you should do is just have a limited time frame, maybe 5 days. You know, they have the problem. We want them to take action soon. And it makes us look popular. It makes it look like, oh, everyone's trying to get in the calendar, but I can't because they're just so popular. Maybe there's some proof to that, but the most important thing is availability. Just think about it logically. If someone wants to book a time and they have to pick a time that isn't ideal for them, maybe they're a young family and they're a mother and they take their kids to school and they're trying to juggle their career as well as trying to take their kids and look after them. There's a sporting event and they know there's a time in the week that's perfect for them, but it's not available. So they pick a time that they might not be able to make, but they'll pick it because that's all there is. Well, guess what? They're not going to show up if something happens. So availability. So it's really stacking your calendar as long as you can. So for me, because I put my calendar on before the advisors, because I want to qualify clients before they actually get into the appointment, because you got to protect the financial advisor's time, because you know they're often one-man bands trying to do everything themselves and don't have much administrative support. So their time's really valuable. And so I put my calendar on there and I put from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. That leads to a lot more conversion in terms of people opting in their information than booking at a time. A lot more people are putting it in. The con of that is you have a lot more throughput. You have a lot more people putting their information in, but you have a less percentage of them turning up, but more of them coming overall. So that's where if you're doing this as your own business, you got to be mindful of juggling the time of your salespeople. You might have more qualifying questions before they get to the appointment, so then the leads are higher quality with higher intent. Personally, for me, I try to have a minimal amount of friction because I have unlimited time. I can train salespeople. This is all we do, and because the value of the client that we have is so high because it's a commission share, then it doesn't matter too much. So the revenue per staff member isn't too small where we have to worry about time. Maybe down the line, maybe. As of now, no. So availability is incredibly important. And the other thing is the illusion of time. So the increments we put them in is 15-minute increments. The reason for that is even if it's a 30-minute meeting, an hour-long meeting, we usually just do 15-minute meetings because, you know, the call only takes 8 minutes. I just got to work out what's the underlying driver to get insurance. Is their health in good enough nick where they can get insurance? Do they have a job so where they can afford insurance? And that's pretty much it. And we just got to make sure they show up. That's why the underlying motivation for insurance is really important. And I haven't got good enough at that where I'll share what I'm doing on it. But when I do, I will. So availability. 15-minute increments as available as possible and 7 days a week ideally. If you're not prepared to do that, don't run a business. Sorry. Or find some young hungry guy that can. A lot of people work on weekends. That's what I love about New Zealand. It's just the competition. They're lazy, complacent, except for the top dogs, and I'm just like bowing down, teach me the ways. But a lot of people in New Zealand just like want the lifestyle. It's like, what lifestyle? What is life about except purpose and people? What do you need to do? Like if I don't feel like working, I'll just go for a swim at the beach, then come back. If I feel like my creativity, my execution's diminishing, I'll take a break. But what is there other than purpose and people? But anyways, availability, that's number one. So make sure you're as available as humanly possible. The one I'm struggling with is the advisors aren't as available. So then I'm having to book people a further week in advance to try and find a time that works in the advisor's calendar, which leads to them getting serviced by other advisors before they get there. It means they've lost the actual motivation to get cover, and the likelihood that they show up decreases the the further you get from the time. So I really had to get good at the underlying motivations. The other thing is speed. So this was confirmed by HubSpot and the MIT study. If you search up leads, MIT, 5 minutes. So it's 21 times more likely to enter the sales cycle if you call them within 5 minutes, which makes complete sense. I used the analogy in another video prior to this where it's like, if someone gets shot, they're not going to wait for the hospital with the most Google reviews. They're going to go to one that gets them first. And with Facebook or whatever thing you're running, as soon as they get an indicator that a person's interested in insurance, it's going to start feeding them other options, because that's all they do. Facebook gets people on a platform and tries to get advertisers money. So the more money they get advertisers, so advertisers spend more money, the more ways they can keep people on Facebook so they can sell them more shit, the better. So all of a sudden, everyone wants your person and you got to get to them as quick as possible. So speed is king. Especially with Facebook, you created intent. So you're saying like, hey, this person was thinking about it. They weren't really searching for it. They came across it, clicked the button, boom, you've got their number. Call them then. Then they have no reason to search. Same thing with an email. Someone sends you an email, hey Ryan, what's going on? What's this? What's happening? And I'll be like, hey, I can't answer it right now, but I will give you the answer by the end of the day. So that takes away the fear, the need to try and find an answer. It's like, okay, Ryan's got it sorted. He's acknowledged me. Whereas if you ignore the answer, even though it will take you a day to get to them, then you got a whole problem. But anyways, okay. So speed to response and speed to contact. So as soon as a lead comes in, as soon as they've been shot, you need to get them to the hospital. The second thing is, as soon as they reply on whatever channel, you need to reply immediately, which is hard, you know? They might text you at 9 o'clock at night. They might text you at 6 in the morning. You got to reply because that window of availability and motivation is just there. And you might think, oh, well, I only want clients that really want it. Oh, well, choose a different industry because no one wants insurance. If your product or service didn't require you to convince them, then you would need a sales team. So once again, don't be a business if you're going to make up some crybaby excuses about that. So speed to response. The other thing is personalization. So some people like texting, some people like emailing, some people like calling, some people like going on Messenger, some people like WhatsApp. So is anywhere you can find your client, your lead, try and contact them. Facebook, send them a video message, send them an audio message, send them a text, give them a call. Funnily enough, when I give them an out like, hey, I feel like I've called you a few times. Are you still interested? No worries if not. Then they become interested. They feel bad. They know. And I think people just need that reassurance of like, hey, this person isn't going to bombard me. It's called a statement of empathy. So you acknowledge their feelings so they feel safer with you. It's easier for them to express what's going on and there's no shaming. So they're more likely to communicate with you and get back to you and blah, blah, blah. So personalization, whatever channel they communicate with you, you stay on that channel. That's what Alex Mosey says. I'm better on phone than I am on text. So I try to push them to the phone, but that's what he said with the hire Alan that was doing 4,000 appointments a day. But as soon as someone texts me, I reply. As someone that doesn't like typing, I've got a Gboard, it's called. Like Google made this keyboard where you can talk. So I'm making calls and then I'm talking into it and it's typing it for me, and it just speeds up everything. I don't want to go over 15 minutes in terms of like how to call leads. So maybe we'll do a whole new session on that. But the next thing is you've booked them into an appointment and you've got to think, okay, this person is probably going to get anxious or fearful or worried, or lots of things are going to go in their mind before they meet the next person. So you need to reassure them. So what we do is when we call a lead, I add them on a conference call with their financial advisor once I've qualified them. If the financial advisor is there, then I transfer it over to them and then they continue the discussion. What that does is, once again, they've been shot, got them to the hospital, they're in triage, and then I put them in front of the doctor as soon as humanly possible. So they've already built that trust, that rapport, they feel understood, and then they can go straight into the appointment, and it's a smooth transition. If the advisor's not available, what I do, if they do have a way to do this, is if they've got WhatsApp, I will add them to a group chat, make the title the time of the appointment and the day, and then I'll send a video message that will talk to the underlying motivation to get the insurance. That tells the advisor as well, but because we have a shared CRM, they actually know all the notes and what's going on. But I put them in a group chat and then the advisor will respond with a video as well. So what that does is it alleviates the fear of meeting someone new. He reiterates or she reiterates the actual understanding of the goals and the motivation, so the person feels like it's a good place and feels more confident to turn up. And then also social pressure. So the rapport and time I invested into them combined with the investment of the advisor increases the likelihood that they will turn up. So that's that. And then the next day we send them a personalized text message to make sure that it reiterates what the motivation is, reassures them around trust. I might send a personalized video of the actual advisor. So the advisor doesn't record it, it's pre-recorded, and it will talk to what they're looking for. Maybe it's life insurance, maybe they're looking for a way to fix it so it doesn't increase, maybe it's health insurance for their kids, whatever it is. We send a video of the advisor to the person, so the person's like, oh, okay, they get it, this is what the person looks like, this is what it's going to be like, and I reiterate the time. Book them in. Next day, do that if you can't get them on the phone immediately. And then on the day of the appointment, I do the same thing. Maybe another video, another personalization, just whatever makes sense for that specific person. So they're leveraging the social pressure, the identity that they assign to, hey, I said to this person that I'll turn up at this time. He's put a lot of effort in it. He reassures me that that's actually happening, and so I'm more likely to turn up. So that's what I recommend for leads as of now. I did a lot of research to find that out. You can search HubSpot, MIT, look for Alex Hormozian leads, and it just makes sense. But the main thing above availability is really just speed to contact. Don't let the person bleeding out in the street waiting for help, where all the vultures come out, that might not have their best interests at heart, and they need you to call them now. So get the finger out of your ass and call them.